Sometimes it seems like working on your dreams is an impossible task, especially when you have to work a 9 to 5, you have responsibilities, you have bills, you have kids, you have all these different responsibilities. But I'm here to tell you that it is not. Want to know how? Stay tuned until after the music. You're about to listen to a great episode of the Laz and B Experience podcast. Within this episode, my hope is that you obtain something that will help you find your success. So grab a pen, get your paper, your favorite snack or drink, and really listen to what I have to say. I truly believe it can be what you need to get you to your next level in life. So grab a seat and enjoy the ride, and I'll see you on the other side. Welcome to another episode of the Laz and B Experience podcast. Thank you for tuning in. I'm super excited about this episode. I'm super excited about all my episodes, but this one I get to interview someone that I've known for quite a few years. We've both been in high school band together. He actually created the music that you hear throughout this episode and throughout all the episodes from this season and season 2. He's a musician, he's a producer, he's a rapper, he's a father, he's a lot. So give it up. Oh, I want to give it up to my guest today, Jamari Mikell. How are you doing today?
Good, man. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm happy you got me on here.
Yeah, I'm glad you are able to be on this episode. I think this is going to be a great episode to help a lot of people, especially those who have dreams that are not, I guess, regular dreams of working a 9 to 5 or doing that kind of thing. So I think this is be a great episode. So
no doubt. Just
want to get it started by saying, first question, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you are, I don't know if I would say an expert, but why do you know about being able to support your family while you're still trying to live out your dream?
I wouldn't call myself an expert either, but I would say, for me, I view myself as just an average guy. You know, I'm just an average guy who just naturally has music, you know, just going through his veins, and I'm utilizing, you know, every chance that I can to, you know, make those ideas come to fruition. I'm a father, I'm a musician, like you said, and, you know, like I said, an average guy, you know, nothing too spectacular or crazy going on, you know.
So for you, why is it important to even have a dream? Like, why do you need that? Just to be successful or just to be living on this earth, really?
Well, for me, dreams come from a spiritual place. You know, I grew up in the church. I grew up around the church. I've been taught extensively on, you know, the spirit and the soul and, you know, treating people a certain way. And I feel like dreams come from a place of spirituality, whether you believe in God or whether you believe in other. And my whole point of following my dreams, or my whole point of finding dreams important, is your dream is not necessarily for you. I feel like the dream that you're given is to your job is to help it come to fruition so that you can help somebody else, so that you can bring value into the world or value into someone's world in a way that, you know, maybe they didn't have before, or maybe you're reinforcing the idea that they needed to have. So for me, dreams are important because those dreams are not yours. Those dreams are gifts that were given to you in order for you to help someone else. So that's super important to me. Yeah.
So when it comes to dreams and being able to like live out those dreams, it's hard for some people because like you still have to make a living, you still have to take care of your responsibilities. So how do you tell somebody, or what advice do you have for somebody who's trying to live out those dreams, but they still have to take care of their responsibilities, whether they have kids or they have
family
to pay a family and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would say my main thing is balance. I was told by my godfather, he's been in the industry for a while, in the music industry, and he's seen a lot of different things, highs, lows, etc. And one thing that he told me initially that would be the most important thing for me to try to establish was a good balance. Because like you said, when you have responsibilities, when you have family, when you have, money that needs to be made, and your dream, especially like in the music industry, your passion, it takes a long time and it takes a lot of work for you to actually make a dollar doing music. You know what I'm saying? I'm just now getting to a place where I'm seeing income consistently from music.
How long would you say you've been doing music or producing or rapping and all that kind of stuff?
Man, I've been doing music seriously maybe since I was 19. So I'm 27 now. I'll be 28 this year. So I would say about 8-9 years. I was seriously pursuing music, seriously practicing, seriously making moves, meeting people, making connections, going to different events and things like that. I would say about 8-9 years.
So when within those 8 or 9 years, like what made you keep going even though you wasn't making any money and you were spending money to get what you want to get?
Right. Yeah, I invested a lot. I invested, thousands and thousands of dollars. I would say what kept me going was understanding that the journey has to be just as enjoyable as the destination. For one, you don't want to finally get to where you're trying to go and then you're miserable or you're burnt out. You know what I'm saying? You have to find the joy and the peace within you trying to get to that point. And also just understanding that nothing happens overnight. Everything is a journey. Everything is a build up. Everything takes time. And especially if you want to be considered great or be considered to be a master at whatever it is that you do, you have to put in that time. You can't cheat the grind. You know what I'm saying? So my whole process and my whole thought process was, okay, however long it's going to take me to get to a certain point where I feel like I'm dope, where I feel like, I'm getting the validation or the whatever it is that I'm looking for, I'm dedicated and I'm willing to take that time because for me, I've seen it happen. I've seen, people put years of work in. I've seen people, grind and do what they had to do and see their dreams come to fruition. So, for me, if they can do it, just by putting in those years and putting in that time, I can too. So, and just having that hope of knowing that, it's possible. That'll keep you going for sure.
I agree with that because I also do photography, and even with this podcast, I eventually want to see some kind of financial gain from it. And,
right.
And I also see that I do enjoy doing this, even though sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I don't want to do it because I'm tired or I just get home from work or whatever. But I still find the time to get up to make the time to do this. Like, I'm here in Chicago for a week because I wanted to spend some time with my family before I go back to school. But within this time, I also was like, I can also get some of these interviews done too. So I can do that. So, of course, I'm spending time with my family, but I'm also doing other things like doing this podcast. So I definitely understand that.
Definitely. And you gotta make that time. You gotta find that time. You gotta find that time, You have to.
And also it comes with sacrifice. Like I was just saying, I want to spend time with my family, which I'm definitely going to do. But some of that time that I could be spending with my family, I'm also doing my podcast and trying to find time to meet with guests and trying time to make these questions and
trying time to answer questions that they may have. So it's definitely a sacrifice that you have to have, whether it's time, whether it's money, is both for anything really. So
sacrifice. That's a big word. That's like, that's the word right there.
And it's crazy. It's not even for if you have a dream outside of working a 9 to 5. If your dream is to work at a certain company or do a certain job for a 9 to 5, you still have to sacrifice for that too. So no matter what your dream is, there's that sacrifice you have to make for it.
Without.
So when it comes to family and maybe your spouse or your kids, I'm pretty sure for you they support you and everything. But when it comes to those who don't support you, how would you advise people to like push through that I guess non-support they're not getting from their family or from their loved ones or friends?
Well, for me, I feel like you just got to be real with yourself. You got to be really real with yourself, and you got to be really real with the people around you and really real about the people around you. Because, there are going to be a lot of people, you tell them things and hey, I want to do this or I want to, and they like, oh, okay. And then it's like no support. I remember when I first started doing music and I first started investing in music equipment, and I think the first thing that I bought was a computer. It was like $1,200, and then I bought like a beat machine, and that thing was like $1,000. And my mom was looking at me like, come on, man, what you doing? Like, what I'm saying? But over time, with that consistency, we all hear about, people that say, oh, I want to do this or I want to do that. And, it changes over time. You have some people who stick with what they said that they wanted to do. And then you have people who switch up every month. Now it's a new thing. Now it's a this. Now it's a that. I think people start to take you seriously when they see the consistency in what you're actually doing, not what you're saying that you're doing.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? That's the key. We all say that we want to be a millionaire. We all say that we want a lot of money. We all say that we want, that fine girl that we done seen and this is that and the third. But it's like the difference is the work that you actually put behind getting what it is that you said that you want. And I think once people start seeing that work and that consistency, then they're like, oh man, now I have more of a reason or more of a barometer of why I should believe in this person or why I should get it. In the beginning, you're not gonna have that support. You're not gonna have nobody that believes in you. You may not have nobody that sees your potential, and you have to have that self-worth and that confidence in yourself to see that potential in yourself. You know what I'm saying? For me, I was like, man, at least if I never make it or if I never blow up musically, at least I love what it is that I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? At least I'm getting better. At least I'm learning. At least I'm meeting new people. You know what I'm saying? That was my joy of it. I said, if I never make a dime, you know what I'm saying? At least I have this. That's what kept me motivated when people didn't get it.
Yeah, and then I feel like it's a kind of a good thing or an advantage, because if you do make it big or you do get recognized, you're still going to get a lot of people who don't think what you're doing is good or hate on you, do it, whatever. So having that kind of what do you call it, like tough skin.
Gotta have
like at the beginning would definitely help you when you get to a certain level.
Yeah, because if you I don't want to use the word soft, but if you're very sensitive to every little thing, every little person, every time somebody doesn't do it, and for me, I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people. If you tell me what I can't do, I'm going to do it just to piss you off or just to get on, just to prove to you that I can do it. You know what I'm saying? And that I've always been that way. So, whenever I got negative feedback, I'm like, okay, well, I need to toughen myself and harden my exterior, like we said, to make sure that, nothing that anybody says or nothing that they don't say, because that's what people don't tell you too. A lot of times people are not going to say that they don't believe in you. A lot of times they're not going to say things, or they're not going to motivate you, or they're not going to do those things, and those are signs of them not believing in you as well. You know what I'm saying? The things that they haven't said, or the things that they will not say, you know, that's another sign of them not, you know, believing in you as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree, especially if they like all in your face for other things, but then when it comes to what you're working on, they have nothing to say. They reposting what you talk or your work, or they not even sending you messages like "good job" or anything like that. So yeah,
No doubt.
So I know you're not doing your dream or producing music full time, or that's not what you're doing. Everything. I know you have like a 9 to 5 as well. When do you think is a good time for you or anybody else to like make that transition from doing it on the side or having that your side hustle and making it your main hustle, basically?
I think that depends on your lifestyle and situation. So honestly, when I was at home with my mom and she was paying most of the rent, I was, you know, giving a few dollars to it, and I had my own bills and car note and insurance and stuff like that, and repairs. When I was in that situation, that was the best time, honestly, for me to just drop everything and be like, okay, well, let me get a little part-time job to make sure that I have enough money to cover my few things, and then let me go full-fledged into this music thing. I wasn't thinking about it like that back then. So it's different. Like for me now, me having a family, me having a mortgage, me having a business, me having all of these different things, I want to make sure that everything financially is covered before I'm like, okay, let's jump ship. You know what I'm saying? Even though I have this studio that is growing and it has the potential to fully secure everything that it is that I'm working on, or everything that I want to do, it's like, well, it's not there yet. So don't jump ship or completely dive into this just yet. Get it to a point where it's consistently taking care of itself and giving you some other residuals. You know, like you have a little something that you can put on your rent. You can have this, you know, and then you have room to grow and progress and move it forward. I think that's the time to you know, let that 9 to 5 go and move forward. But it's different for everybody.
Yeah, definitely, I agree.
Yeah.
So when it comes to, I mean, with you rap, you produce music, you do a lot of different things. Like, how do you, I guess, manage having, I guess, more than one dream or more than one thing that you're working towards?
It takes a lot of discipline. I will say that. And it takes a lot of years. You know, when I first started doing music, I was told by people that were in the industry doing well that what I'm doing now would never work. I was literally told by people that I looked up to, like, yeah, don't do that. Like, it's not gonna work. You need this, you need that, and you don't have this, and you know, they said it out of their mouths, and you know, at first it discouraged me, but I'm like, you know, once again, me being the type of person who likes to prove people wrong, I'm like, all right, watch. You know what I'm saying? Watch what I'm gonna do. Watch me, you know, be a producer and a beat maker and a rapper and a mixing engineer and all of these different things, a record label, and just watch me, you know. But it took a lot of years and a lot of focus to hone those individual skills. You know what I'm saying? I always wanted to be a jack of all trades. But I feel like there are specific certain things that I do better than others. But if you put me in any situation, I could, you know, create something that's good because I spent that time focusing on those individual goals and individual dreams. And like I said, it took me 8-9 years to know what it is that I know now. So I feel like in order to juggle all of those things, you have to know how to wear different hats, and you have to know how to discipline yourself to focus on different things. You know, so if I make a beat or I produce a song, I have to now, after I produce that song or while I'm producing that song, I have to put on my songwriter hat. You know what I'm saying? I have to step from the position of, how these drums are going to sound or how this is going to flow. And then I have to put on my songwriter hat and say, okay, if I write this lyric here and if I write this, does it flow with everything that I've already created? Then after the song is written, then I have to put on my my producer hat again. I got to say, okay, how does this all fit? Then I got to put on my engineer hat because I'm in here by myself recording myself as well. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be able to decipher the different jobs that it is that it takes, and you know, and be proficient in each part. You know, be disciplined in each part, and that basically creates, you know, what you become. You know, essentially.
Do you think that, I mean, for example, want to be a rapper and be a producer and all that kind of stuff, do you think it's good to try to tackle all of that at once, or do you think you should be like trying to get, I want to be a rapper, so I'm going to learn how to write and learn how to like do the right flow or whatever, and then I'm going to go to how to produce music or vice versa or whatever?
I personally think you should do whatever your situation calls for. You know, for me, and this is a funny story. For me, all I wanted to do initially was make beats. I wanted to be a producer. I was watching Kanye and Ryan Leslie and Just Blaze and all of these dope, you know, producers, like, you know, actually make the music, you know, whether they were sampling, whether they were playing, you know, piano and, you know, blending all of these ideas and these textures together. I'm like, man, that's dope. And that's all I wanted to do initially. I did not want to rap, you know, and anybody that knew me from that time, I would tell you, I'm not rapping. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to sing. Like, I would tell you, like, my grandmother, she's been trying to get me to sing for years, and I would not do it. I didn't want to, you know what I'm saying? But by me focusing those early years, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be the dopest producer. By me focusing on the beats, like a year, 2 years in, I'm like, man, I think I'm pretty dope. And I was trying to sell my beats and nobody wanted them. And I'm like, oh, what the heck, man? Like, I know these cold, like, you know, what's going on? So I was like, you know what? You know, I have a writing background. You know, I used to write stories and songs and stuff when I was in middle school and high school. I'm like, okay, let's see if I can write a song. And I started writing again to my beats. That's how I started the songwriter portion. And then I'm like, well, I wrote this song, I got this beat. What's next? Recording. I'm like, oh, well, I don't want to be a rapper. I don't want to be a singer, but hey, I don't have nobody else to do it. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just seeing those needs and seeing those holes in your situation. Like, if you come in and you have a producer already, or you have somebody who's dope making beats, and you just rap, that's a perfect situation. You got a perfect, you know, thing. For me, I didn't have that, so I had to be all of those different people that I did not have. You know what I'm saying? So it's case by case.
So I think a lot of people, especially like people who grew up in the kind of neighborhood we grew up in, they want to grow up and be, they see like the rappers, they see the basketball players, the football players. Yeah. They see these stars and they're like, man, I see what they're doing and I want to do that. So how do you tell if it's something that you actually want to do, or is it something that you just saw somebody being great at it and you was like, man, I want to do that because they look like they're having fun and making a lot of money?
I think it starts from a fan perspective and being in awe or being a fan of what it is that somebody does. I think that's the beginning. You know what I'm saying? I think that's where we all start. I don't think Derrick Rose just woke up one day and was just like dunking on people. I think he's seen, you know, people in his neighborhood or people on TV. He's seen Michael Jordan, you know, drop, I think 81 points or whatever. He's seen it. You know, no, that was Kobe. He's seen the Kobe's and the Jordans and you know, Magic Johnson's doing what it is that they were doing. And he was like, man, I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? And basically that sparked the idea to put him on the court. You see what I'm saying? But the difference between somebody who's watching somebody do it and now they want to emulate it is the discipline, the time that they're going to put in, and them actually creating their own lane within it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we all, at some point wanted to play basketball, football, baseball, something. We all kind of had those dreams. But for me, I like basketball. I did not have the discipline nor the skill, you know what I'm saying, to stick with basketball and to actually be good at it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Even though I watched Derrick Rose do what he did, and I'm like, man, that's amazing. Like, bruh, if I could jump that high, if I could do this, it was cool. But I'm like, I don't have the discipline to stick with it. You know what I'm saying? With music, I was like, man, this is something that I'm naturally good at, and I have the discipline to learn more about it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, okay, well, me trying to emulate sparked that idea. I got the discipline, I'm sticking with it, and then I'm like, I'm putting the time in, plus I have my own perspective, and I have my own voice, and I have my own style, so I can find my own lane within this. You know what I'm saying? I think watching somebody and being influenced by somebody is the beginning of every spark. They like it says, there's no new thing under the sun. We all have to get our idea and our motivation from somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. So when it comes to dreams, do you think they have to be aligned with some type of purpose in order for it to be like, for you to be successful at it, or it to be for you to find success within it? Or do you think it can be two kind of different things where your dream is not necessarily aligned with your purpose, but you still, I don't know, can find a way to get some fulfillment out of it? Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it has to be in line with your purpose. And the reason why I feel that way is because I think a lot of times we think we know what our purpose is and our point of doing what it is that we do, just to get what it is that we want, or go or finally achieve what it is that we want to achieve, to find out that wasn't it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe your job or your purpose was supposed to be, maybe you were supposed to be Tupac, and you were supposed to spark, like he said, the next person who was going to change the world, like a Kendrick Lamar. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Tupac's job was to spark people like Kendrick, to create people like Kendrick. Maybe that was his purpose, but he felt like his job, maybe in the beginning he felt like his job was to just rap and just make music, because it just naturally flowed out of him. He was a character, he was an entertainer. Maybe he felt like that was his purpose. But then again, maybe his spiritual divine purpose, maybe his purpose from God was to spark, those other generational talents and minds to be able to think outside of the box and be a voice for black people. Maybe that was his purpose from God. So I feel like if your purpose doesn't align with your dream, I feel like it's great. But I feel like even in your dream, you should try to find purpose or meaning in it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be your ultimate purpose, but it should at least be fulfilling enough for you to be able to help somebody else with it. You know what I'm saying? Or spark somebody else's mind, or give somebody else some confidence to move forward, or whatever that may be. But it's really not as deep as we make it a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we kind of talked about this already, mm-hmm. and I think we can go maybe a little bit deeper with it. But how do you deal with, or how would you advise someone to deal with people who are like criticizing them, or haters, or non-believers in what they're working on? Like, it doesn't have to be just family, but just people that they might give their art to or give their stuff to, and mm-hmm. they are not like thinking it's not great as they as they do?
I would say honestly, for me at this point, so I'll speak on it from two different perspectives. I'll speak on it from the beginning, and I'll speak on it from years of experience. In the beginning, it is a thing of, like I said, you have to have that tough skin, and you have to have you have to find your purpose, or your not purpose, but your fulfillment in it. Because, there are going to be people and there are going to be situations that are going to deter you from it. I remember one time in particular, I made a beat, and I was supposed to be going with, I think it was my uncle or somebody, and I hopped in the car. This actually happened on two different occasions with two different people. I hopped in the car and I played the song, or I played the beat that I made, and it was like crickets. It was like once it went off, it was like you could hear a needle drop, and he was like, man, what the hell was that? You know what I'm saying? And the other person, the same thing happened. They was like, yeah, stick to what you're doing now. Like, don't pursue this music thing. Like, just, and these are people I looked up to and I had a lot of respect for. But I realized I had to have enough confidence. That's what a lot of this stuff boils down to, a confidence and just the will to go against it. I've always been the type to go against the grain, even in school. That's why I got in so much trouble. If the teacher tell you to sit down, I'm doing flips in the back. Like I'm trying to swim upstream, so to speak. But now when I deal with people who don't get it, or people who don't believe and whatnot, honestly, I look at it from the confidence that I look at it from is a lot more extreme, because I'm at a point now where I've been there, done that. You know what I'm saying? I'm approaching everything from a perspective of I've done it already. I've already got some of the acceptance that I want. I've already got the sound and the ideas, and I'm already confident in my moves. So if you don't like it, that means it's just not for you. You know what I'm saying? I had to understand that, because, as artists or as creators, we naturally want people to be in love with what we do, just like we are. You know what I'm saying? It's just natural. We got that from kids. We do a backflip. We want our parents to be like, "Oh man, like that was awesome."
Not even a backflip. You just jump. Like
like anything.
Especially like with my nephews or with my niece, that like they don't do the most amazing thing, but when they do a small thing, you need to cheer for them because like they did something.
Exactly. Yeah. It stems from being kids. Like, we want people to congratulate us and to, oh man, that was great. But I'm at a point now where if I send something to somebody, or somebody listens to something that I've done and they, I didn't really like it too much. Oh, it's just not for you. I got my people that I already know they rock with it. I already got my audience. I already got my group of people. I already got my tribe, so to speak. Mm-hmm. You don't have to like it. You don't have to love it. If you're just one person, just two people, just 5 people, just 20 people. I got 5 over here that like it. Mm-hmm. I got 100 people over here that don't like it. I got 5 people that like it. That means that there are potentially 1 million other people just like this 5 that like it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I think we have to reprogram our minds to stop trying to please everybody.
Yep, I agree. I was going to say that.
Man, that because how I was raised, and you may be the same, is that we don't want to offend anybody. We want everybody to feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. We want everybody to like us. We want everybody to. Man, I've gotten to a point, and I learned this right after high school. Trying to please everybody, and I'm still learning this, to be honest. I'm still learning this. Trying to please everybody will send you to an early grave. it will kill you, like, because you'll be stressed out every time you don't come through or you don't make everybody happy, or it's one like it's literally like Superman grabbing this plane out of the sky. You know what I'm saying? He grabbed this plane, he got it down safely. You know what I'm saying? But he, you know, in the process of grabbing this plane, one person fell out of the plane and died. But he saved 70 other people. But one person died, and it's like everybody's talking about that one person.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, but look what I did over here. Like, and he would be. It's understandable to trip about that one person and be like, oh man, I could have. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like, come on, bro. I just saved 70 people.
I mean, no one's perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And trying to and that's the analogy that I use when trying to please people. You know what I'm saying? I can't be everything for everybody. I can't be if 5 people think I'm the best rapper, producer, whatever. I can't be that to 4 million people. I can't be that to you because everything is subjective. So I'm not going to waste my time trying to be what everybody wants. I'm gonna focus on these 5 people, these 500, this 5,000 people that's over here that rock with me genuinely, based off of just who I am naturally and naturally what I do. I'm gonna rock with that five people, 500, 5,000 people, and that's going to be where I build from, opposed to trying to get everybody to feel me. And then it's like with other people that may kind of do what it is that I do. It's kind of like a cocky, arrogant thing. It's like, okay, well, you do what I do, but you can't do what I do. Like, you're not me. You know what I'm saying? I may send it to you. You may, you need to do this, or you didn't. Oh, that's cool. You don't get it. You're not me. You know what I'm saying? I have a vision. I have a different, perspective, and I'm confident in that vision. That's a key word. That confidence is really important.
And I feel like if people like really understand that everything that they do is not for everyone, or everything they do is not going to please everyone, and they really understand that, and they go with what they want to do, I feel like they can go a lot farther than trying to be like, okay, what can they're going to everybody to try to figure out what can they do to make that one person happy, where there are millions of people, potentially millions of people out there who like it just the way that you have it.
Exactly. And just to add to that real quick, I look at especially in music, I look at the people that we look up to. The J. Cole's, the Kendricks, the Drakes, the Kanye's, the Jay-Z's. The reason why they worked, and the reason why they're on top, and the reason why they're millionaires and billionaires and they've done what they've done, is because they were different. They were themselves. They pleased those who rocked with who they were. They didn't try to appease to everybody. Jay-Z came from a specific place. He had a specific perspective. You know what I'm saying? And he was talking to specific people. He came in and he got those people to buy into what he had. You know what I'm saying? Once those people bought in and they started talking and things started circulating, then you had the world who started to buy in because it was popular at that point. You know what I'm saying? But it started with that little neighborhood where he was selling drugs and doing what it is that he was doing. That's where it started. You know what I'm saying? So
kind of going off of that, like, how do you get to that point of not caring what everyone is like saying about what your work or your art or whatever, and like, what are some things that people can do to get to that point?
One thing, I did a post about this a while back, but one thing is just understanding where people's point of reference is from. So for instance, I had somebody tell me one time, they said, "Oh man, your raps are too complex. You doing them dictionary rhymes. You got too many syllables and you need to dumb it down." And I'm like, it offended me at first. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie, because I'm like, I'm not Lupe, I'm not Kendrick, I'm not even trying to be complex or profound, or I'm just rapping what I feel. You know what I'm saying? And I looked at that person and I was like, okay, where is this coming from? What does this person like that I'm not? This person likes trap music. This person likes their favorite rapper may be somebody who keeps it very simple. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh, you don't like it's not me that's the problem. You don't like it because it's not what you're used to. You like a specific thing, whereas I'm not that thing that you like specifically. Oh, well, I'm not the problem then. It's actually you,
and it's not really a problem. It's just like
right.
It's like you like this and I'm doing this, so we just got to go our separate ways.
It's just a difference in opinion and perspective, and it's like I said, just understanding people's. Tyler the Creator had a dope interview that he did. I think right after he got his first Grammy or whatever, and he was on Hot 97 and he was talking about points of reference. And this is so profound to me because me understanding this concept has literally changed how I see everything, from music to relationships to my wife, everything. You have to understand the point of reference where something comes from. You know what I'm saying? You have to understand why somebody said what it is that they said. You have to understand where it came from when they said it. You have to understand the trauma or the life experience that it came that brought forth what they said. So, for instance, when the story I was talking about my uncle and sitting in the car with him and I played the beat and everything like that, and he wasn't feeling it. His whole vibe, he was a huge R. Kelly fan. You know what I'm saying? He loved 90s R&B. He was completely into like early 2000s hip hop. You know what I'm saying? What I played for him was not that. So I can't be mad if he don't get it. I can't be mad if he don't rock with it. It's not what he's used to. You know what I'm saying? And I had to understand his point of reference. His point of reference was 90s hip hop, R&B. And that's what, that helped me see clearly, hey, it's not wrong or it's not bad if people don't get it. They just don't get it. Their point of reference is different than where you're coming from. So, yeah.
So when it comes to like someone has a dream of being a rapper or even being a photographer or whatever their dream is, and it costs a certain amount of money in order to get into that, but they might not have that money to get started. How would you advise somebody to get to that level or get to that spot where they can actually get started?
Well, one, and this is going to sound very remedial, but get a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, let's say they have a job, but they also have kids or other responsibilities. So they're taking care of their responsibilities, but after they take care of everything, they don't have a lot left over, really. Well, I'll say two things. You gotta hustle for what you want. One thing about being a black man in America, one thing that I had to come to grips with very fast was that nobody was going to do it for me. Nobody was going to save me. Nobody was going to even necessarily help me. So I had to do what I had to do. If I had to pick up extra shifts in order to afford something, if I had to put it on a payment plan, if I had to finance something opposed to just buying it outright, that's what I did. Because for me, there's always a way to get what it is that you want. May not be the right way, may not be the easiest way, may not be the most traveled road. There's always a way. And if you have the will to figure out that way, you're going to always have what you want. You know what I'm saying? Like when I first started studying Kanye and seeing him, he had these dope like soul samples and he was chopping them up and he was doing all of these different things. I'm like, man, like I need something that I could do that with. And I stumbled across this this piece of equipment that was $1,000. I didn't have $1,000. You know what I'm saying? I'm still living at my mom's crib. I was paying a few bills. You know, I was in college. You know, but I searched around, found a company that was allowing you to buy it and get the product and pay it in payment installments. I was like, oh yeah, this it right here. I'm like, I could afford $300 a month. You know, I was like, I could save up and make sure I have enough space, enough. You know, I could do a couple extra shifts and, you know, make sure I could have this money to pay that until it's paid off. And that's what I did. You know, I seen what I want. I figured out how to get it, and I found a way. I found there was a will to get it, and that's how it came about. That's how everything in my life so far has come about. It's just knowing what I wanted, figuring out how, and just doing the work to get it. If you got to work a couple extra shifts, if you got to get a second job, if you got to get a better job, you know what I'm saying? You got to do what you got to do in order to get what you want, you know?
I think the biggest thing that a person can do is, and we talked about this already, is that sacrifice that you have to make. So instead of going to the club every weekend or something like that, get a second job or do Uber. Like for me, this whole summer, I did Uber as much as I can. I worked my regular job, and luckily I don't have a lot of responsibilities because I only have to really take care of myself. Right. But after working that job, I would do Uber for a couple hours. During the weekends, I would literally do 12-hour shifts of Uber. Yeah. And I would do that almost every weekend, and it's a big sacrifice, and it was just a lot to do, and I was able to get the equipment that I have right now to do my podcast. I was even able to pay off my car, which I was trying to do in the first place. But it's that sacrifice. Maybe you don't have a car where you can do Uber, so go find something else that you can do. Maybe, like you said, get out, do extra shifts at your job, get a second job, get a third job if you have to, and make that sacrifice. And
that sacrifice is important. And soon everybody will kind of hear my story in full, but I've literally I've sacrificed relationships, you know, with different various women that I was dealing with. I've sacrificed, you know, going out partying. I wasn't really a party guy in the first place, you know, but I did like clothes and shoes. Mm-hmm. I sacrificed all of that. I was a huge video game head. I would play video games all day. I completely stopped playing video games. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted this so bad. I wanted to be good at what I was doing so bad that I sacrificed everything that wasn't aligned with what it is that I wanted. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Everything that was not headed in the same path or that had the same goal, I sacrificed it all. You know, I had women you know, all you do is sit around and make beats all day. All right, cool. You not cool with it? You got to go. I'm sorry. I'm doing this for me. Mm-hmm. This is something that God placed in me that He wanted me to come to work on, to bring to fruition. And I can't have nobody or nothing around me trying to pull me down from that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, I just spent $500 on shoes. That's $500 I could have used to go towards some equipment, a new microphone. Yep. But I spent it on this.
On some shoes that you already have shoes that you can wear. You just wanted those particular shoes. Yeah.
And I'm still sacrificing to this day. I don't go out. I don't party. I don't do none of that. You know, my whole thing is building this dream that God gave me, that these ideas that were placed inside of me. That's my whole goal. You know what I'm saying? So if going out and spending $1,000 on trying to look like I got something is not a part of that goal or goes against that goal, I got to cut that out, and I have to be disciplined in doing that. You know, that sacrifice is important, no doubt.
Now let's kind of move to a different. Well, I guess it's kind of different, but you said you've been doing this for 7-8 years now. Mm-hmm. how did you kind of stick through that process of going through what you was going through in order to get to where you are right now? Like, how did you not like give up or change courses or whatever? Especially when you wasn't seeing the results that you wanted to see. Like, you might not want it. You might knew you wasn't gonna make $1 million off like your first beat or something.
Yeah.
But you didn't see anything come from it, or like people, you see negative things come from it.
Right. I guess one of my character flaws is that I'm stubborn. You know what I'm saying? I'm very stubborn, and I'm the type of person. Once I'm committed to something, I have to see it through. You know, I can't be wrong about what it is that I've decided that I wanted to do. I have to see it through. I have to get it done. And I told myself, so two things. I told myself in the beginning when I started doing music that I was going to do my best to be the best I could be. I had been mediocre at everything else I did in my life ever. You know what I'm saying? I was mediocre in school. I was mediocre in relationships. I was mediocre in sports. I was mediocre in playing instruments and band. I was mediocre. I was just good enough to slide by, just skate by in everything that I did. You know what I'm saying? So I told myself once I started doing music, I made a promise to myself. I said, you know what? I'm not gonna half do this. I'm gonna be the best that I possibly can be, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to be what it is that I need to be, no matter what that is. No matter what that is. And I discipline myself in being like, okay, you recorded this vocal and it sounds okay. Are we looking for okay? Mm-hmm. No, we're looking for great.
Yeah.
Do it over. If you got to do it 70 times, if you have to go through and say every specific word, you know what I'm saying, and then piece it together later, that's what you need to do, because you want to be great. You don't want to skate by. You don't want to be mediocre. You don't want to, you don't want to half do it. And one of my mentors, he told me as well, he said, if you're going to do this, you got to do it. He said, you can't play around with it. He said, because you doing this the right way could potentially change your life and the life of those around you. Mm-hmm. He said, but you doing it halfway can ruin your life and ruin the life of those around you. You know what I'm saying? Because the music industry is very predatory. It's a terrible industry if you don't know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But if you know what you're doing, you've done your research, you learned about your contracts, you're good with your music, and you met the right people, you can potentially be the next Jay-Z. It's all about how you see it. And it's all about staying the course, even when you don't see, even when you don't see the residual. So me being stubborn and me making a promise to myself and not wanting to, and wanting to prove people wrong, you know what I'm saying? That kept me going. That was all the fuel I needed.
So how do you know if it's, people do this all the time. How do you know when to stay the course and when to pivot to something else? Because, that pivot could be the thing that you need to do in order to find the success you was looking for. Where if you stayed along that course 10, 15 years, you might not be where you want to be.
Right. That's a good question. And that's something that I'm still trying to decode. So for me putting out music and me recording myself was a pivot. That was a form of a pivot, because like I said, I never wanted to rap. I never wanted to sing. I never wanted to record myself. I never wanted to be that type of guy. That wasn't ever initially in the cards, I felt. But with what I was doing, which was just making beats, that wasn't going anywhere either. So I'm like, okay, what can I do differently, or what can I change in order to be, to push myself forward? And that became me actually recording myself and actually making my own music. So I feel like,
I was going to say, so like when in your I guess process or progress did you realize you should do that?
When I saw myself getting better. So to kind of go to outside of music, if I was putting in 6 months of making music and I wasn't getting better, I would have tried something else. I would have pivot and tried something else. Cause I'm like, okay, in 6 months, if you serious and you disciplined and you working hard in 6 months and nothing's changed, yeah, it's probably not for you. You know what I'm saying? It's probably not your thing, or probably not a skill that you could use to do anything.
Especially when there's so much like resources out there that you can use. Like this, I have an internship this summer, and I'm learning something that I never used before, and because of the resources out there, I'm able to get better. So I can definitely see myself being different from when I first started to where I'm at right now.
Exactly, and you seeing that progress, that makes you want to move forward. That makes you want to do more, because you like, oh man, like you look at where you came from, of somebody who made their first beat or did their first whatever and blew the speakers out in their car. You know what I'm saying, on the first go round, to somebody 6 months later, even your little brother who hates on everything that you're doing, even he's like, oh man, that actually sounds like something. You know what I'm saying? Like that's that I don't know if it's dopamine or that's that rush that you need to be like, okay, so this is progressing. So let me keep doing this thing right here. And my thing is always, you know, in pivoting and actually making music and actually recording myself, my thing was always, okay, this isn't working, or this isn't turning out the way that I thought it would. What can I change, or what can I do to make it better? You know what I'm saying? What can I add, or what can I take away, or what can I, maybe I'm making beats in the wrong setting, or maybe I'm, you know what I'm saying? What can I do? What can I do to self-correct? You know what I'm saying? What it is that I'm doing currently, because apparently something isn't working. And I was always told, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again, and you're not getting good results, it's probably because it's something that you're doing wrong, or something that you could change to get you a different outcome. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that was how I made that pivot, you know?
And I think that's you said like 6 months, and I mean, I don't want to tell nobody to do it for 6 months and then see the progress, but I feel like some people might need that number. So maybe it's 6 months for some people, maybe it's 3 months for some people. But if you see that you're putting in the work, literally put in the work, it's not just like I worked for an hour one day this week, or 2 hours this week, and I don't see any progress. Well, you're not going to see any progress because you're not putting in the work, even though you think you're putting in the work. So if you see yourself for 3 months, for 6 months, for 9 months, for a whole year, putting in the progress, and you don't see yourself making any progress, you put in the work, but you don't see yourself getting anything out of it as far as like making it sound better or making it look better, or whatever you're doing is not getting better, then maybe you should make that pivot to something else.
Yeah, I'm a strong believer that anything that you get consistent at, you get good at. Whether it is, if you want to get good at doing backflips, or if you want to get good at playing the guitar, if you give it at least, if you give it an hour a day, every day for 3 months, you're going to be better than you were when you started. Just giving it an hour a day. If you give it 30 minutes a day, you know what I'm saying?
It's that consistency. It's not, you can't just do it every so often.
Sometimes.
Yeah, you got to do it every day. Yeah.
Doing things sometimes, you only going to get half of the result. You're going to only be halfway there in half the time. In, you know, twice the time, rather.
Well, we come into the end of the podcast. I didn't know it was going to be an hour, so I'm happy that it is like an hour. I was kind of, when I was writing out the questions for everybody, I was going to be doing interviews for. I was like, is this enough questions to get through an hour? And we didn't even get through all the questions, but I do have a few more questions I want to get through before we finish. And the first one that I want to get to is, is there anything that you think we missed or anything that you want to add to this conversation before we end this episode?
I would say be intentional. Be very intentional about everything that it is that you do. Don't just do things just to pass the time or do things to distract yourself. Do things and make decisions and put people in your life that have an intention. You know what I'm saying? Even with my wife, the reason why she's my wife is because when I met her, I was already on this journey, right? And in this journey of growing and self-discovery through music, she joined that journey with me. I didn't have to stop or change what it is that I was doing in order for us to be together. You know what I'm saying? She literally jumped aboard. I was like, "Oh, you doing that? Oh, that's cool. You know, I'm into that too. Let me see how I can assist you. Let me see how I can move with you. Let me see how, you know, how this can become." And especially, you know, with time management, when you have a family, when you have a spouse, when you have a 9-to-5, you have to be intentional about everything that you do. There cannot be any wasted moments. When I come into the studio, I'm working. I'm not in here playing a video game. This TV that's sitting right here never comes on. You know what I'm saying? I'm not scrolling through my phone, looking through Instagram. You know, I'm not on Twitter tweeting about the Beyonce album. You know what I'm saying? I'm focused because I'm intentional about this time that I have, because the time that I have is not a lot. So I have to be very militant and disciplined with what it is that I'm doing. Like, okay, well, this song needs vocals. Well, let's record these vocals. I can't come in here and say, well, you know, I'm a little hoarse today, and you know, I don't have no water, and it's like, no, record them vocals. You know what I'm saying? Because, and if you can't record them vocals, do something else that could add to the overall point of you coming in there. You know, be intentional about everything you do, the people you have in your life. Nobody should be in your life for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Everybody should be either adding to your life or and never removing or taking anything away, like your energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And when they add into your life, they shouldn't be adding stress. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I would have to say. You know, be intentional and don't waste time. Time is the only thing that we have that we cannot get back, which means that time is the most valuable thing that we have. You know, wealthy people are wealthy because they have time, not because they have money. They can do whatever they want with their time. That's why they're wealthy. It's not because they got millions in the bank.
And I was going to add a little bit to what you were just saying. It kind of goes with it, where when I'm doing something that I feel like is my purpose or something that I enjoy doing, like, I can see myself being like, without even trying to, like, being more focused. I can see myself like spending hours doing something and I realize I've been doing it for hours.
Oh yeah.
And like when I'm doing something, and when I'm doing something that I really don't want to do, I can see myself looking at the clock every 10 minutes and thinking it's an hour or something like that. So definitely see where in your life where that kind of thing is happening, where you can see yourself doing it and not worry about the time or not worry about what's going on. You're like really focused on that one thing because you want to see the success from it. So that's one thing I think you should get from this episode as well. And then my second to last question is, if someone listened to this whole episode, what is one or two things that you think they need to make sure that they get from this episode, or that if they don't take anything else away from it, they get this one thing?
You are the only person in your way of getting what you want. That's the first thing. The second thing is, it's okay to be selfish sometimes. Even if, you know, you're selfish for 1 hour a day, even if you're selfish for 30 minutes, even if you're selfish for 4 hours out of your day. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to be selfish, especially when you have a family. Because I know in my case, everything that I do is for my family. I go to work for my family. I, work hard at everything that I do for my family because I'm not working for myself and I'm not doing things for myself. I haven't been for a while now. So me doing music is also to help my family and to bring money into our household, but it's also selfish because it's therapy for me. You want to be selfish, but you don't want to be self-centered. Those are two completely different positions. Selfish is you're taking time and you're focusing on self. You know what I'm saying? Selfish. You're but self-centered is when you make decisions with only you in mind and you move. Your intentions are only for yourself. My whole thing of being selfish is if I'm not okay with myself on the inside, if I'm not mentally in the right space, I can't be what I need to be for my kids. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not selfish with myself, a few hours out of the week making music, I'm going to be grumpy. I'm going to be irritable. I'm going to be closed-minded. I'm going to have a mental block when it comes down to my kids. I'm not going to know how to teach them how to pursue their goals and their dreams because I'm not being selfish and pursuing my goals and my dreams myself. So how can I teach them something I don't know? You know what I'm saying? So be selfish. Be selfish sometimes.
I mean, I like that when you said that was like, I'm glad you said that for this episode. It's like being selfish versus being self-centered. And like, I never even thought about it like that. But yeah. I definitely agree with that. Yeah. But
no doubt.
I do want to say thank you again for agreeing to be on this podcast. I do want to say thank you also. I know I probably said it already, but for the music that you put for this podcast, it's like I feel like it brought my podcast to another level, and hopefully with this interview, it takes it to another level.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate your talent and your work and what you put into what you're doing to help me do what I'm doing. But before we go, I do want to give you a chance to shout out anything or plug anything that you might be doing or that you want people to know about.
Oh, no doubt. So currently, I've been dropping a song a week since the top of the year. If you, I hate saying this, but if you Google my name, Jamari Mikell, it sounds so like Google me, like it sounds ridiculous, but if you Google my name, the first thing that'll pop up is all of my music links. Check them out on whatever platform you listen to music, whether that be YouTube Music, Apple, Tidal, Amazon, Spotify. Just check out the music, vibe with it. Follow me at Jamari_Mikell on Instagram and Facebook, and send me a message. Let me know how you like it if you like it. If you don't like it, let me know. I want to hear everything. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully this conversation has helped you. Hopefully this conversation has given you a little bit more insight into how I kind of do things and how I'm able to still be creative and still fulfill my creative side while being responsible, because we have the idea that you can't be creative and responsible for some reason. It's like they go against each other, and they do actually. It literally, clashes, but it's possible. And the things that we gave today is how it's possible.
And I don't know if he said it throughout this episode, but I definitely want to say that we're actually recording this in his studio right now, where he has all this equipment and what he's able to do because he made those sacrifices and because he's going through the process and did what he had to do to get where he is. So if you, like he said, he's a music producer too. So if you are a rapper, if you are a singer, if you are an artist that need your music produced, you can also go to him for that. And then you want to share your Instagram page for your group or your company?
Oh yeah, and for the label / studio / rehearsal space / production company, it's a big umbrella. It's at Indigo ENT Group. So Indigo INDIGO ENT Group on Instagram, and give us a follow, and we got weekly stuff coming out, so stay tuned.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, I will continue to say thank you for coming out, or for letting me come out to your studio to record this. And then if you're still listening to this, thank you guys for listening to this episode. I really hope you guys got something out from it and can use it for your life to help you. And until next time, continue your journey until you reach your success. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of the Lazenby Experience podcast. I really hope you were able to receive valuable information that will help you take actionable steps to get you closer to achieving your goals. If this is true for you, I would really appreciate it if you share this episode with others, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to continue receiving updates on new episodes. I truly am excited about how my experience, the Lazenby Experience, can make a difference in your life. Again, thank you for listening to the Lazenby Experience podcast, and until next time, continue your journey until you reach your success.